Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class, which is a recording of a class given by Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur on October 27, 1974. It's Canto 1, Chapter 8. In Canto 1, Chapter 8 is about prayers by Queen Kunti. So we do text 47 today. And we request that you kick up the volume of your listening devices. Sometimes these recordings are on a low volume here. So that's just one thing to consider doing. Without further ado, we'll start the class now. Hare Krishna.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya Aha Raja Dharmasutash Aha Raja Dharmasutash Chintayan Suhridam Vadham Chintayan Suhridam Vadham Prakritinatmana Viprak Prakritinatmana Viprak Sneha Moha Vasham Gataha Sneha Moha Vasham Gataha Aha Raja Dharmasutash Aha Raja Dharmasutash Chintayan Suhridam Vadham Chintayan Suhridam Vadham Prakritinatmana Viprak Prakritinatmana Viprak Sneha Moha Vasham Gataha Sneha Moha Vasham Gataha. Translation. King Yudhishthira, son of Dharma, overwhelmed by the death of his friends, was aggrieved just like a common materialistic man. O sages, thus deluded by affection, he began to speak.
Aho Raja Dharmasuta Chintan Sridang Badam Prakitino Atmana Vipra Sneha Moha Vasangataha. Sneha, love, affection, and moha, illusion. So, prakitena. Prakitena means on the bodily conception of life. Actually, sneha is different. There are affection in different stages. This morning I was reading the statement of a fisherman who caught Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his trance, and by touching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he became spiritually ecstatic, but he thought that he has become ghostly haunted. Here is a ghost, And he was thinking, I am ghostly haunted, so if I become mad, who will take care of my wife and children? This is the position. The fisherman was actually, spiritually, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, simply by touching him, he was so much spiritually advanced that he was chanting, dancing, crying, means all the symptoms of spiritual ecstatic transformation was visible in his body, but he thought that he had gone mad on account of touching the body, ghost. He was thinking like that. And the main thinking was that if I become mad like this, then who will take care of my wife and children? This is sneha. Everyone is thinking. Even the lower animals, they are also thinking of giving protection to the children. I have got personal experience. In Kanpur, I was sitting in my room and one monkey was outside the door with his kiddie to take something out of my eating. But by chance, the small kiddie entered through the bars of the window within the room. And I saw the mother became almost mad immediately. So my son has gone inside and he will not be allowed to come again. And anyway, I managed to push the small kitty to go away. Then she was relieved. So this affection for children, for family, for wife, for family members increased. Then to society, to country, even to the whole human society. There are so many persons, they have given their state for benefit of the whole human society. There are many, many philanthropies, charitably disposed men, they do that. But all these activities are simply moha, illusion. Only moha. It has no value. If you say that so many things it has no value, it has value temporary. Punna. Punna, and there is also pap also. Suppose if you give charity, charity is past activities. But if you give charity to a Brahmana, then it is proper Brahmana, I mean to say qualified Brahmana, Vaishnava. Then your charity is properly utilized. And if you give the same charity to a drunkard, then you commit sinful activity. If you do not know what kind of charities we shall perform, if you blindly give charity, then sometimes you may be doing pious activities, but sometimes you are clearing the way for going to hell. Therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it is stated there are three kinds of charities: Sattvik, Rajasic, Tamasic. If you perform sattvic charity, then you get good result. Rajasic charity, you get some profit. And tamasic charity, you go to hell. So, one must be very careful, even for this sneha or charity or philanthropy. There is another story. It may be fact that a boy was raised by his aunt very liberally. Then gradually the boy became, in bad association, a thief. And my aunt was encouraging, oh, it's a very good business. You are bringing so many things without any labor. So, or out of affection, he did not chastise the boy when he was stealing. Then he, at the end, became a murderer. So, he committed a murder. Then, when he was to be hanged, so the government man inquired, what is your last wish? Now you want to speak with my aunt through the ear. Then he was allowed, and the aunt was generally crying that my nephew is going to be hanged. So he caught up her ear with the teeth and cut it. So he said, my dear aunt, if you would have chastised me in the beginning, then today this position that you are crying and I am going to be hanged, this would not have happened. But you did not do that. Therefore, you are uselessly crying now, and this is your punishment. I cut off your ear with the teeth. It's a very good instruction. So, the so-called sneha, if it is not properly done, nature's regulation is so strict that you cannot avoid the consequence. That is not possible. These are practical. I have seen another practical in front of our residence. There was another neighbor. So the old man had his daughter-in-law. So she was beating her one child. So I inquired through my servant why this young woman is beating her child. Now, then the servant brought me the news that this boy gave paratha to his elder brother who is suffering from typhoid. The typhoid, in typhoid fever, solid food is forbidden strictly. But the boy did not know. He asked his younger brother that if you steal one paratha and if you give me, I am very much hungry. So he became very sympathetic to his brother and he gave the paratha. And the boy was ill, he aggravated the illness. So as soon as the mother heard that he gave a paratha to him, he began to beat. Why did you give? Now it was charity, it was affection and sympathy, but the result was beating with stools. So if we do not know where charity should be given, then where affection should be there, then we are under the laws of nature, we shall be punished. If it is not properly done, there is punishment. Therefore, it is said, prakiteno atmana. Prakiteno. By worldly relationship, prakiteno atmana vipra sneho moho vasangata. Sneha, affection, moho, illusion. Just like Arjuna, the same thing. Out of affection, he was denying. He was denying, no, Krishna, I shall not fight. No, there on the other side, there are my brothers, my nephews, my grandfather, and my teacher, Dronacharya, all my object of affection and obeisances, and I will have to kill them. You are inducing me. No, don't do it. That is prakitena. He did not know the spiritual necessities. Sometimes we take sannyas. I have seen our godbrother, big godbrother, he took sannyas. So his son was crying and he was also crying. Then if you have got affection for your family, society, then why you are taking sannyas? That is prakitena. We should not be carried away by this material affection. No, that is not good. You must do your duty. That is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. That Arjuna, you are being carried away by your material affection and you are hesitating to execute your duty. This is not good. Anarja justam, this is befitting for the anarja, non-Aryan. Non-Aryan means not civilized, and Aryan means civilized. This is the distinction. Now people are very much fond of calling themselves as civilized, Aryan, belonging to the Aryan family. What is the Aryan civilization? Aryan civilization means this Vedic civilization. Just like Arjuna, a Kshatriya, belonged to the Aryan civilization, and because he was denying to fight, Krishna accused him, oh, this is just like non-Aryans, anarja justam, non-Aryans. So this is Aryan civilization. Aryan civilization means giving importance to the spiritual life. That is Aryan civilization. And those who are giving importance to the material life, prakita, that is called prakita. Sabhakta prakita smrita, in devotional life also, there are prakita bhaktas. Prakita bhaktas are described, archayam harai jab pujang sadhya hati natad bhakteshu channeshu sabhakta prakita smrita. A devotee, of course that is the beginning, who is carrying the archa, deity worship, very nicely. Archayam harai jap pujang sadhya, with great affection, regulative principle. But he does not know archayam harai jap pujang sadhyate nadad bhakteshu. But he does not know how to respect a devotee. Natad bhakteshu, charneshu, He does not know how to do good to others. Simply, he is attached to the deity worship. Savakta prakita smrita. He is still on the material platform. So one has to make advance. What is that advance? That advance is, what is that verse? The four kinds of prema matri kipopekhaja karati samadha. Ishare tadadhineshu. The further advancement. One has to make advance, stage by stage, from the Kanishthadhikari, from the lower stage to the middle stage to the higher stage. So, the next stage, from prakita, from material position, of course any devotion is, any devotee is not on the material platform. He is, but if we remain more on the material platform, not on the spiritual platform, then we'll fall down. We'll fall down. Therefore, one should try to make forward march. The forward march is to become a preacher. Bhakteshu channeshu. Preaching means to obey the order of the spiritual master or superior authorities and do good to others, do good to others. They are suffering for want of Krishna consciousness, try to please them. This is the second stage. If you simply become blocked up for deity worship, do not preach, then we remain in the lowest stage. But when we take up this one, preaching means he must be conscious, very Krishna conscious, advanced. Krishna conscious means that he is a lover of Krishna. Ishare tadadhe. He will see four things. First Krishna, Ishara, and tadadhina, the devotees. Ishara tadadhineshu and baliseshu. Balis means people ignorant, men who do not know what is Krishna consciousness. They are called balis, just like child. Child is called balis. Ignorant men. Baliseshu dishashu. And other class, he will see four things. Ishara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will see the devotees of Krishna, he will see some ignorant person, and he will see some envious person. That will have to meet. If you become preacher, then you will create so many enemies also. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. His father became enemy. Not outside. Outside he might have many enemies, but the 5-year-old boy, because he was taking opportunity in the school, and as soon as the teachers are out and the tiffin hour, he would immediately stand up on the bench and preach. You have seen the picture. He was preaching amongst his small class friend. That preaching work is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how he was intelligently preaching. He is first, Kaumarang, that Bhakta, I forget now, my memory is becoming old. So, Kaumarang acharit pragya dharman bhagavatanya. That he was preaching. my dear friends, we are now unmarried boys. So, this is the opportunity. Now we are unmarried. We are not very much attached to family life. This is the opportunity. Komaro acharet pragya. Because as soon as one becomes materially affectionate, here it is said, prakitena atmana vipra sneho moho vasam. The more we increase, when we are children, we have got little affection for playing or for father, mother, that's all, limited. But the more we grow, and especially when you are married, then this material affection increases, more intense. That is also stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Pungsang sriyang mi thuni bhavameto. This material life means sex life. So, a man is searching after woman and woman is searching after man. This is material bondage. This is natural. Not only human society, in dog society, they say the dog is crying at night because he has lost that woman, is it not? Just see, even in the dog, what to speak of human being. So, this is material life, to be affectionate, unnecessarily. Therefore, devotional service means vairagya vidya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by his example how he gave up the affection of young, beautiful wife, very nice home, most affectionate mother, most influential position in the society, gave up. So this is the, people do not know what is devotional service. Devotional service means just like Kunti was praying, my dear Krishna, kindly help me. How can I give up this affection of my family? The Pandavas and the Britannies. This is required. This is the first sacrifice. They are not prakritena vasangata. Then it is. But actually the perfection of life is no more affection for anything material. Brahma bhuta prasannatma, no sujati, no kam. That is the beginning. When we have lost complete affection for, we are not cruel, that is not an other. But we should know that this is not required, this is simply moha. This is simply moha. This is illusion. It has no meaning. It is simply entanglement. That one must know. That is called vairagya. Vairagya vidya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wrote 100 verses appreciating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of which 2 verses are available. But because when he sent the 100 verses by glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately torn the papers, but the devotees collected the torn papers and saved 1 or 2 slokas. So, one of the most important sloka is Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yogam shikkharthamika purusha purana. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kipam Buddhija Stamaham Prapadde. hey, who is this Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He immediately recognized he is Krishna. He is Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Person, he ordered this Vairagya Vidya. Give up nonsense, all these things. Just surrender to him. This is Vairagya. So-called affection and duty and so on, so on. Sarvadharman parityaja. Give up. This is Vairagya Vidya. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could understand that he is the same Krishna. Same Krishna, Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered, but he did not personally teach how to become elevated in Vairagya Vidya. Here is the same person, he has come again to teach practically how to attain this Vairagya Vidya stage. Therefore he said, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam. Vairagya Vidya means you become detestful to the material thing, parang drishtya nivartate. But as Kunti said, that my affection may increase for you. Vairagya Vidya means not only simply give up affection of this material, but you increase your affection for Krishna. That is Vairagya. Not that giving up all affection for the material world you become zero. The zero stage is Brahma-bhuta stage. I have no more any affection for material things. But zero stage you cannot stay. That is not our nature. Anandamaya Abhyasa, we want Ananda. So, we give up this association. Unless we take Krishna's association, there will be no Ananda. It is simply zero. In the zero platform you cannot remain for many years or many days. Then you will fall down. If you don't increase your affection for Krishna, simply you give up the affection of this material world, then you cannot stay for many days. You will fall down. You will fall down. Arujya krichena parang padang tata patanti adha anadita jusmatangraya. Simply negative process will not help you. You must take the positive position. So, that is required. Otherwise, devotional service means Vairagya Vidya. It is the transcendental education to become unattached to this material world. This is called Vairagya. In another place it is said, the Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janati Asu Vairagyam. Janati Asu Vairagyam. Jnanancha jada hitukam. Vairagya or Jnana. These two things required in human life. To become unattached to this material world and based on Jnana, knowledge. Just like the so-called sannyasi, they give up as a sentiment and take sannyas, but unless there is knowledge, he cannot stay, he will fall down. He will fall down. Therefore, Vairagya and Jnana, two things must be there. Jnana means full knowledge that I am spirit soul, my only necessity is spiritual advancement of life. This is Jnana. And then naturally he has no more any affection for material things. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking, it is natural that on account of his position to become the emperor of the world, Sridhanga Bodham, so many friends have been killed. Aharaja dharma sruta, chintan suhidanga vadham. This is nature. But duty is duty. When Krishna says that, as he did to Arjuna, that you must fight, you must kill them. That is duty. That is Krishna consciousness. No consideration of my affection. That is duty. And Arjuna did it. This is the duty of the devotee. Anukullena Krishnanusiliram bhakti uttama. First class devotion is to serve Krishna just to please him. If he is pleased, if he says that you kill your son, then we should be prepared to do that. That is called Vairagya. Of course, never Krishna says like that, but actually in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was ordered, if not the son, but the nephew. But his sons are also killed. So this is duty. So many people inquire, Krishna was inducing people to fight. But this fight, by the order of Krishna, and the fight or war declared by for the satisfaction of the politicians, they are not the same. We must always remember. They are not the same. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was standing and his father was being killed. Is it a very good thing? Suppose if I am here and somebody kills me, and if you do not protest, is it a very good business? People will be surprised that so many disciples are here and this man is being killed and nobody do anything. So, from material point of view, Prahlad Maharaj could have asked, Nishingadev, my lord, do not kill my father. He could have asked, and immediately his request would have been granted. But he did not do that. He was standing and saying. But he knows that this killing of the body of my father is not killing. I shall save him. I shall save him. That he did. When he was offered benediction, he did not take anything. He said, my lord, what shall I do with this material benediction? I have seen, in the case of my father, he was so strong that even the demigods were frightened for his presence. His position was so strong, and he finished it within a minute. So what is the benefit of taking? No, please do not request me. But although he did not ask anything for his personal self, but he asked the Lord, prayed, the one thing I request. What is that? Now, my father was a great demon, and he was against you, has committed so many sinful lives. So I know he'll have to suffer for this thing. I request you to excuse him. This is Vaishnava. Oh yes, immediately. Immediate. So he knew that what is this of asking for this material being? My father is not this body. But he has to suffer so many things for his sinful activities. I shall save him in due course of time. Therefore that is called putra. Putra means punnamak narakat trayate jasa putra. Punnama naraka, this is represented by the alphabet pu, and trayate tra. Combine together, putra. So putra's duty is to save the father from a hellish condition of life. Therefore there is Shraddha ceremony. So here is the putra, real putra, Prahlad Maharaj, that is saved his father from the hellish condition of life. Similarly, a father should be the protector of his child, and not only simply by feeding him, making him very fat in this life, but from death. Namocha samupita mrityum pita na sasyat. One should not become father, one should not become mother, one should not become guru, one should not become relative and so husband and so many. The list is there. Why? If he cannot save his subordinate from imminent death. That is father, that is mother, that is guru. And how one can be saved from imminent death or repeated death? Simply by Krishna consciousness. Janma karma me dibbam jo janati tat tattadhi hang punarjanma nahi. You can save your son, your disciple, your relative or anyone whom you love, real affection, then give him Krishna consciousness and he will be saved from death. That is the purport of this. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So again, nice, wonderful lecture with so many points given by Srila Prabhupada. And dear devotees, this is the time that if you want to contribute some takeaways or ask questions, you unmute yourself and then you can be part of this Krishna Katha that usually happens after the lecture is over. It's a very, very important lecture. There's so many points that hopefully the devotees heard, and it will make a difference in their lives. So many things that we have to do and so many things that we need to understand. You talked a lot about Vairagya, but I won't get into it now. Personally, rather open up for the devotees that you want to contribute. Just unmute yourself and join in the conversation. Hare Krishna. So anyone?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance to Srila Prabhupada.
Mine, go Srila Prabhupada.
One thing that came to my mind is I have to play this lecture again. This lecture, I think, of course, all his lectures have instructions and points, but this is like power-packed. It has like a lot of questions, a lot of instructions from devotional practice to, how to be an example, to deity worship, to charity, to being, to carry out one's duty. Like it's like a wholesome package of, like bite size, as they call it. So this is one lecture I think I really have to go back and hear because, hear or read the transcription because it's really powerful, especially the point that Prabhupada mentioned. One of the points that came to my mind about charity, where he was saying is charity in the mode of ignorance, tamasic, I think is the one he says where, one goes to hell. I've never heard that before. I've known about the 3 different charities, but I didn't know that one giving in the mood of, donating in tamasic goes to hell. That was pretty heavy. So, yeah. And then I think he said the one in the mode of rajasic, I think it's there's problems. Something like that he said. I have to go back and hear it. But that was a very powerful point that Prabhupada made about charity, that we have to be very, very careful where we are giving, who we are going, and for what purpose. What is the purpose of the charity? So that was one of my takeaways, but I'll have other devotees share. Krishna.
Yeah, it's very, very important. That particular one you talked about, that the charity in the mode of ignorance, somebody gives charity that causes something bad to be done to another person or to a group of people. then the person that gave that goes to hell. Yeah, that's quite a statement and a serious one we have to be very careful about. But we also have to remember that accessories to crime, the people who are accessories are also accused. Accessories, those who helped to cause the crime to happen. For example, if you have a situation where some thieves go to rob a bank, those who pointed a gun at the bank employees and took the money are definitely criminals. The person that was standing outside watching to prompt those people that the police may be coming and we should get out of there, he never threatened anybody. The person driving the car, he never threatened anybody. But then they're all part of the crime. They will also be punished. So because they're tied to that. So basically, if you're given a mode of ignorance, you have started what's going to be a negative thing that's going to be there. And you started it and made it possible to give the means for it to happen. And that's why it's so important we tell devotees, if somebody says they're hungry, give them prashadam. Rather than give them money, they may have lied to you and they go buy some drink and make the bodies even weaker, alcoholic drink, then you are responsible for having allowed that sale to happen to have that person be, to abuse their bodies more. We don't own these bodies. These bodies are owned by Krishna. Therefore, then you also, are liable to be punished. And hellish planets are where the punishments are. That's why somebody can go to hell like that. So we have to be careful. We have to think at a higher level, even when it comes to charity. The easiest is to give to a brahmana, or better yet, give to the temple. Because that's definitely going to be used for Krishna consciousness activities. Hare Krishna. Thank you for that point. Anyone else that wants to mute and join in the conversation, you can unmute now. Hare Krishna. And while devotees are thinking about that,
Another point I think that
sure.
Prabhupada made about deity worship, I was saying how important, like he mentioned so many points about deity worship, how he was saying that, one does very nice deity worship. It's funny because I heard that same point in our training, in my training with Nrsimha Kavacha Prabhu recently, that someone does deity worship, they appear so nice, so kind, this, that, but then they treat devotees and they don't respect devotees, they offend them, and so forth, So one can do very nice service and act like they're such a nice person and do very, very outwardly they're great, but then they don't respect devotees, they don't treat them properly, they offend them. So Prabhupada was even mentioning that, how important it is to be an example, because deity worship is not just for show. We are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. That was one of my takeaways, how important it is that we worship the deities, not just for show, but very, very personal, because we should also treat the devotees just as the way we treat the deities equally. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Actually, Krishna also says that Mad Bhakta Puja Abhyadika. If you worship my devotee, I'm more pleased than even worshiping me directly. And me, for us, when say me, that means the deities. So yeah, worship of devotees is a very, very important point. We have to very much respect the devotees and understand their position, that they're the ones that are favored by Krishna, more so than non-devotees. Non-devotees are in the material energy, which also belongs to Krishna. But devotees have turned their attention to Krishna, so it's very, very important. And in fact, one of the 10 offenses, the very first one, is blaspheming devotees who dedicated their lives to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. Blaspheme, that is anything that will make a devotee very unhappy or get into a useless argument, all of those kind of things. It goes against us. It goes against us. Hare Krishna. Okay, dear Krishna Prabhu, I see you raised your hand. Please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Accept my
All glories to
blessings.
Srila Prabhupada. Great points. I mean, wonderful, wonderful class by Srila Prabhupada. Just like we were discussing about charity, yeah, we should be very careful. We should not just give our donations or do any charity out of emotions. We should make sure it, uh, whoever or who, for whatever purpose we are giving the charity to, should be used in pure Krishna consciousness. So that's one point. Second thing, how Srila Prabhupada says good preachers, they unintentionally, I mean, of course, they have good purpose, but there are a lot of enemies to them, just like we see around us also. A lot of negativity, lot of pushbacks, lot of enviousness we see because one who is preaching the pure Krishna consciousness, everybody is not able to take it. So that was
That's
also
true.
great point. And third thing I was thinking how Srila Prabhupada quoted the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Sri Prahlad Maharaj. One should not become father, mother, guru, or an authority unless we are able to give Krishna consciousness to our subordinates. So I was thinking, like, especially in this Western country, when mother is pregnant, there is a training given by hospitals to prepare uh, for the child and how and parenting and all that. But this most important point is missing. So that's very very unfortunate. But as part of this movement, we are so fortunate that somehow we at least we have this knowledge. Now, how much we can apply again, hopefully by hearing again and again, somehow we will able to apply it. Just wanted to bring those 2 3 points out of many points. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, it's important. The last point that you made about hearing again and again, and at some point we'll begin to apply. That's exactly what this whole idea of hearing is about. Some things are told to us in different ways. Sometimes it's the same basic information, but the more you hear about it, the more the intelligence helps us. Our intelligence helps us to, take it seriously that we have to apply this, or we have to stop this, stop that thing, apply this one instead, have a better idea about what to do and what not to do. That comes from lectures. The first thing is to hear. So hearing is very, very, very important in our lives. Anyone who's coming on to listen to Srila Prabhupada and listen to other preachers is doing themselves a great, great, great favor. And it will help them in their growth. We're not living like the communists are living. We're not going to be living that way. Krishna conscious people are living at a transcendental level. That's why even charity is described in the mode of goodness to Brahmins or to the temple, in the mode of passion for making a profit from it, that is, you're giving charity, but you gain something from it. So there's a motive behind it. And in the mode of ignorance, that causes charity that causes destruction. Mm-hmm. So that when anybody is asking, you can immediately look at the situation and decide, is that helpful if I just give? Or is it going to help? Is it going to destroy them, based on their karma if I give? And if it is going to be a negative situation, then there's no point giving. And you shouldn't feel bad that you didn't give. Mm-hmm. That's also important. You shouldn't feel bad that you didn't give. But sometimes now, and I'll just say this one point, there are some people who have gotten their young offspring, teenagers, to go to different places and beg, to get Lakshmi. And we don't know actually what the whole plan is behind, giving to such such people these young, beautiful people are talking about, oh, I want this, I want that. I'm going to use it for something different. I'll tell my own story. One time I was going to a Chinese store. As soon as I entered the the door for the main building where all the stores was like a small mall in the Chinese stores, and this young guy approached me and asked me for money. Then I looked at him, and immediately things went up my head. I said, I have to be careful. I asked him, what are you going to use the money for? He said, oh, I have to buy textbooks. I have to buy, books for school. Now, he had no idea that my background is teaching. I've been a teacher myself. So when he gave the excuse, I looked at him and says, I have the money, but somehow I don't believe you. So I'm not going to give it to you. I actually told him because the time that he asked, it's not time for getting textbooks. I know no way at that time of the year that a student is buying books. And I also watched his body language for it because it's kind of threw him off when I said, what are you going to do with the money? Nobody asks like that. Either they just get ignored or they just get given money. But to inquire, so then he thought of something just to cover it. And I realized, no, this person is actually not telling the truth. So I said, I don't believe you. I'm not going to give it to you, so I don't believe you. And he didn't fight me. He just gave, I had to go. So you can give, but you have to be careful where you're giving it to. More the goodness, the best. Temple, you can't go wrong. You definitely can't go wrong. We give it to Krishna Conscious Temple or Krishna Conscious Project. Hare Krishna. Any other point? If not, then
Yeah,
I'd like to.
I like the
Yeah.
point. I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead, go
like
ahead.
the point that Dear Krishna mentioned just now about in the hospitals, when they give the newborn mother what he said, birthing classes. It's been a while for me, some classes anyway. and
Yeah,
and
well,
and but yeah, but they don't teach them. No, they teach them everything on how to give birth and the birthing, the breathing, and all that good stuff. But they don't teach them, are you ready? Can you liberate the child? I thought that was a really important, very interesting point that Dear Krishna made. Yes, it's so true. We hesitate to think, can I liberate this child? And what will I do to liberate this child? So that was a nice point that Dear Krishna made, that this is not even taught in the hospital. That's so true, Prabhu. They teach you everything, but they don't teach you how to liberate the child out of this dungeon of Maya. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Hare Krishna.
Krishna consciousness is not taught in hospitals, unfortunately, unless you have a chaplain that's a devotee that can actually help that. And there are a few devotees like that who are employed as chaplains of hospitals, and that hospital is actually, whether the hospital knows it or not, the management knows it or not, that hospital is very fortunate if a devotee is actually the chaplain there, going to different places and helping the different the patients and those who come in to deliver children also. So to have children. So that's it tells us we have so much work to do in different arenas of life. All right. Any more points with devotees? I'll just share a little bit of what I copied down or put down. Srila Prabhupada says moha is illusion and sneha is love. And he gave a lot of examples in this particular lecture. Bhaktisiddhanta Mahaprabhu was in trance in a river and he was by a fisherman. And when the fisherman realized that this was a person in the river, he touched Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. And by doing that, he got spiritually surcharged. But he thought that the different feeling that has come upon him was going to make him a ghost. And so he was concerned about it. And he began immediately to wonder what would happen to his wife and family and so on. So this is an example of material love, those. There are persons who give charity or the estates, they give it to charity when they're getting ready to leave the body or they put it in their will. The Srila Prabhupada says that's moha. See, the basic thing, this is what we've been talking about, is where is that charity going to go? Where is it going? What is it going to be used for? If it's used for even passion or ignorance activities, then that is not a good place to put your charitable contribution to. So charity should be given to a qualified brahmana and therefore be properly utilized. Or if you're giving more to passion, then you get profit from it because there's some material motive for giving it out. And then, of course, if you do charity in ignorance, then you go to hell. And that's been discussed already. Mm. He gave an example of an aunt who did not stop his nephew from stealing and later murdering. And when he was caught and he was going to be killed for the crime of murdering, and they asked for his last wish, he called for his aunt and then explained to him that the aunt did not correct him when he was doing his criminal acts when he was younger, and he allowed him, to go on and doing it and stealing, and they were using whatever he had stolen. And so he said, you caused this. He bit off the aunt's ear as punishment. And the second example he gave was a sick person with typhoid was given paratas by his brother, his relative, even though in typhoid it's forbidden to eat, solid food. So the mother found out about it and started beating that, brother who gave his brother the solid food. Similarly, Arjun was reluctant to fight, even though his cousins were willing to fight against him. And Krishna explained to him that he was acting like a non-Aryan. An Aryan gives importance to spiritual life. So the devotee begins as a, third level, and then they go to second level and so on. Third level is Prakriti Bhakta, and they are simply attached to deity worship only. And as Samshir explained earlier, they don't really even respect the deities. They think that, respect the devotees. They think that when they worship the deities, I'm worshiping God, so that's all that matters. Not realizing that the devotees are parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and disrespect or ill-treat the parts and parcels, then your understanding of worship is actually quite flawed. So they also talked about that we have to grow from that level, deity worship only. A person that only thinks about the deities is in a material platform. So if we stay there, we'll eventually fall down. He says to go forward, we have to be preachers. Then we go up to the next stage of advancement. Now, sometimes when you talk about preaching, people think that preaching means that you talk to others about Krishna. Well, that's true, but it's only part of it. Sometimes our own behavior also speaks louder than even things that we say. Our own behavior is a great, great example of whether people will even trust us or listen to us. So we may have Krishna consciousness, knowledge, gyan, but if we start talking about it and our own activities are activities in the mode of ignorance, you cannot deceive the Paramatma. You cannot deceive the Super Soul. He'll know what's happening. So purity is a force. We become better devotees, then the preaching becomes effective. Otherwise, it doesn't get anywhere. So the first business of a preacher is how to be purified, how to take the rules and regulations seriously, how to have firm conviction about Krishna, and how to deal straightforwardly, honesty, all of those count. Otherwise, the words come out of your mouth and you can't really affect the person's heart. So, yeah, preaching is there, but then there's more to it. Deity worship by pujaris is devotional service. It's not the same thing. Deity worship by the pujaris is devotional service. We can also do archana worship of the deity. In front of the deity, we worship the deity. That's also there. But the person that actually is doing the puja is also doing devotional service. We know the difference. Those of us in the temple, doing artik and following the process of artik, and then there's somebody on the altar that's also offering the different articles of paraphernalia to the deity. Those are all part of services. So nobody should think that, we brought this up so nobody would think that, oh, if I don't preach, I do deity service, then I am in the third class platform and therefore I will get nowhere. There are people who milked cows and cared for deities and went back to Godhead. You know some of them from Gita Nagri. They didn't preach. But what they do and their activities and how they pay attention to service, not committing any seva aparat. They are prompt. They cook very well, and they cook putting their best effort into it at all times. That service, the service attitude, carries more weight than anything else. Because Krishna knows that we don't have perfect senses. We don't. And so what we do, we have to do our best. But our intention, that has to always be at the pure level. That we can. Our activities may be a little flawed because of the imperfect senses that we're using. But the mindset of service, that always should be there. And if we just, it should be high. And if we begin to offend devotees or begin to be troublesome and come up with all kinds of excuses, then that's the person that's practically is setting themselves up to go, to be a failure, literally, in Krishna consciousness. So that's the difference. Disconnecting, last point, is disconnecting from material affections like Kunti was asking for. That's the first step, vairagya vidya. But at the same time, we have to increase our affection for Krishna through service, Krishna consciousness. If we give up affection for material, the world only, that's zero, no affection. If we just give that up, then we'll also fall down. It has to be replaced with knowledge and application, especially of the knowledge. You understand that we are spirit souls and we have to serve. First class devotion is to serve Krishna, just to please Krishna. Just to please Krishna. We should chant just to please Guru and just to please Krishna. Then we'll be successful in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Any other final points? If not, then
I remember the third point that Prabhupada was mentioning in his lecture that Mother Kunti was sharing, because he started off saying, what is devotional service? The meaning of devotional service. And then he quoted Queen Kunti's prayer, help me to really engage my service into so that I can get out. Help me to get out. Help me to get out. So when Prabhupada was mentioning the meaning of devotional service in that context, it really helped me to think, wow, the more I do devotional service, the more it's going to help me to think, to pray to the Lord to get me out. Because that's what Srila Prabhupada was saying in this lecture. So I really liked the way Srila Prabhupada said it. Very, very powerful way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, that's the whole point of the magazine called Back to Godhead. That's where our mind should be, going back to Godhead. Through service and developing love for Krishna, and therefore love for the devotees. The sequence is there. First, we develop love for devotees, and then from love for devotees, we develop love for Guru, and then we go to love for Krishna, like that. But Guru says we should serve, so we keep serving devotees, and say we should never, ever give up the opportunity to serve devotees. When any opportunity comes to serve devotees, take that as our fortune. We're fortunate that we're given the chance to serve a devotee. Krishna likes that more than anything else. So we should remember that. Don't take devotees for granted. Be of service to them. Hare Krishna. So thank you, dear devotees. Any last question? Okay, so thank you for coming on. Tomorrow's lecture will begin at 7 and not 8. 7 o'clock, His Holiness Chanamali Swami will be on. So try to get in a little early. It starts an hour earlier, actually. All right. Vanchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhve evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And the pujaris that are on, we have a Zoom meeting tonight. Zoom tonight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bless Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bless Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Jaki. Jai.